Hey, this is Seeing Detail. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for World Series of Fighting 15, Branch versus Okami, which happens on November 15th. Overall, the main card's really good. The prelims, otherwise, 3 title fights on the main card, and they're all solid fights. Then they also have Jorge Patino versus Reynolds as well, rounding out the card. Running out the main card. So, you know what? Let's just get started. For the World Series of Fighting middleweight title, we have champion David Branch versus Yushin Okami. Well, Branch is the World Series of Fighting middleweight champion. He has a 14-3 record, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub, 32 years old, on a 4-fight win streak, training out of Hector Chavez. He is a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt with good wrestling. Striking just kind of average at best. Yushin Okami, 30-8 record, 10 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by KO or TKO. He's 33 years old. He's big for 185. He is a grinder with good wrestling. He also has a judo base, actually. Stand-up's good too. He's one of the few fighters that's not few, but he's a guy that's really improved his stand-up as of late. He has some really straight punches. That's the thing about his boxing in particular. He just uses a lot of straight punches very well, actually. So it's tough to call because they're both more grappling-based fighters than anything else. I would actually say Okami probably has a better striking. Doesn't have the better chin, though. And also, sometimes he can be a bit hesitant to pull the trigger. Okami's generally pretty hard to take down too. And the only guy that's really taken Okami down a lot consistently was like Chael Sonnen. I don't think Branch has that wrestling style. He's not that like super relentless about getting takedowns on you like glue type of wrestler like Sonnen was. I can't see Branch beating him off the feet either. And I have seen Okami go to the ground with good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys. So it's not uncommon for him to be on top. You know, he's fought like Dean Lister. I know that Hector Lombard's like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how he is off his back though. Okami managed to take him down and keep him there. Who else? There's a couple of guys, you know, that he's that Okami's fought that, you know, he can handle himself on the ground. If he's on top, he generally stays on top. And that's kind of how I see this fight, to be honest with you. I gotta go with Yushin Okami for the win here. I think he might be the better at getting takedowns than David Branch. I can't see Okami get submitted. I mean, he's very aware on the ground. He's a grinder. He's fought like high-level guys. He's fought and beaten the David Branches of the world pretty much. Branch is actually improving. Granted, really hitting his stride now more than ever in World Series of Fighting. But, you know, I can't see Branch outside of maybe some haymakers that hit Okami. I don't see where Branch does anything better than Okami, to be perfectly honest with you. I gotta go with Yushin Okami for the win here. Next fight after that, for the World Series of Fighting lightweight title, we have Gaethje versus Melvin Guillard. Well, Guillard has a 32-13 record with 2 draws and 2 no contests. 21 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 9 losses by submission. He's 31 years old, training out of ATT. He has a good stand-up, a real in-and-out style of stand-up. He'll go in, throw a combination, get out. Really heavy-handed, really good knees too. Solid enough takedown defense. His submission defense just isn't the greatest. There's also, like with Guillard, there's really like a hot and cold Melvin Guillard. Like sometimes he'll look awesome, you know. He'll smash guys pretty easily. And then against other guys, he will fold. Looked really bad against Michael Johnson, but when he came into World Series of Fighting, looked good against JZ Cavalcante, you know? So it's tough to say, like, what Melvin Guillard is going to show up. Justin Gechi, 12-0, undefeated record, 10 wins by KO TKO, 1 win by submission. He's 25 years old, training out of grudge. I hear that they're actually friends, that they've trained together, from what I heard from an interview. As I know, Guillard trained at Grudge himself. Gaethje is the World Series of Fighting lightweight champion. He is a high-pressure fighter. He's always in front of your face. Real high pressure. He's still very raw with his striking. I'd say his striking can be pretty wild at times. He definitely will throw without thought for defense sometimes. He has a good leg kicking game though. He actually beat jeez, I forgot who he beat. Is it Cobb? I think it's Cobb with pretty much leg kicks. He's a heavy-handed guy too. Knocked out a lot of his opponents. Patrick Knock, Nick Newell. A lot of guys got knocked out by Justin Gaethje. He's a strong wrestler too. Offensively, he's a good wrestler. He's really good in the clinch too. He'll like get a clinch, dirty box, attack during transitions, and then out to clinch. It's good stuff from Justin Gaethje. Good test for him actually against Melvin Guillard. If the Melvin Guillard that shows up, that's like, you know, everyone thinks could be like a title contender and a top 10 guy shows up, it'd be a tough fight for Gaethje. But however, Gaethje's pressure style, I think, should be able to work against Guillard. Gaethje's defense is worrisome though. Guillard's defense is worrisome too though, because this guy actually does get hit. He has an in-and-out style, but he has a tendency to, I guess, use his athleticism in order to, as defense in a sense. This is a guy that got dropped by Joe Lozon. Of course, Donald Cerrone knocked him out. He was getting hit, he was getting hit by, he couldn't really do much against Michael Johnson. That fight was pretty bad, actually. So, but the thing is, Melvin Guillard, he does hit hard. And he is solid, especially on the feet. The thing with Gaethje, though, like I said, pressure fire, pretty wild, but I think he's going to be in Guillard's face. Maybe break him mentally, because Guillard kind of has, like, mental, you know, like, in the cage, his fight IQ's not that good. This is a guy who's like, oh, hey, Jim Miller's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and I'm beating up with him with my hands. Okay, I'll go for a flying knee. Oh, I got taken down. Oh, he took my back. Oh, I got choked out. Done. I was like, dude, you were like winning on the feet up until an unnecessary flying knee, you know? So with that said, I gotta go Justin Gaethje to win this one. He's, I just think his pressuring style may be a good weapon, I guess, against Melvin Guillard. Next fight after that for the women's strawweight title, the World Series of Fighting women's strawweight title at Jessica Jag Aguilar versus Kalindra Faria. This is a much better fight than Emi Fujino. I mean, this is something that I see with some organizations that they do. They get like this really high level, top level women's fighter, champion at times, you know, whether it's Aguilar, Barb Honchak, or like Michelle Watterson. They give him this like Japanese veteran that like honestly doesn't even look competitive on paper, and then when the fight happens, it's not very competitive either. This is not the case. Kalindra Faria is actually legit, and not many people know who she is, but she actually is one of the top 115-pound female fighters out there, to be honest with you. That's not signed to the UFC, not signed to Invicta. She is very good. Faria, 15-3 record with 1 draw, 6 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by sub. She also has 2 losses by submission. 28 years old on an 11-fight win streak. Trains at a Vale Tudo, Vale top team and Macaco Gold team, which is Jorge Patino's team. That also trains like, I believe, Charles Oliveira, Lucas Martins, Thomas Almeida, I think, too. Trains there. Along with Shoot the Box. She's pretty big. Faria's big for 115. She used to fight at 125 for a good majority of her career, if I'm not mistaken. I actually watched her most recent fight against Sandra Sukovic. Had good takedown ability. Trip takedowns are good. She showed good ground and pound. Overall, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills are good too. Stand-up's average. I mean, it's not polished, but it's not bad per se. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's like that polished though. With Aguilar, 18-4 record, 2 wins by KO TKO, 8 wins by sub. She's 32 years old on a 9-fight win streak, training out of ATT. She is a World Series of Fighting Women's Strawweight Champion. Primarily a boxer on the feet. She does have good wrestling. Takedown defense actually isn't too bad. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is solid. She choked out Alita Gray with an arm triangle, for example. Beaten the likes of Carla Esparza, actually. So, you know, and of course beat Megumi Fujii. This one's hard for me to call. I would assume, I don't look at odds, I'd assume that Aguilar's the favorite here, but I'm not gonna lie. I see upset potential here. I know that consensus-wise, Aguilar is pretty much the consensus #1 women's strawweight in the world. I'm more or less inclined to believe that just because a lot of other female strawweights just don't have the resume or the record that Aguilar has. She did beat the #1, you know, like female strawweight and one of the #1 female fighters of all time, Megumi Fujii, twice actually. But I'm still not it's a case of record and resume wise. I think she does have the best record and one of the more consistent records. She's been fighting pretty consistently since signing with World Series of Fighting. Skill, from what my perceived skill, I think some of the contestants on The Ultimate Fighter 20 are better than her. I think a lot of them can outstrike her. I think someone like a Claudia Gadelha would be able to out-grapple her. But we will never know. As long as Aguilar is still in World Series of Fighting and beating good opposition, she's going to be the consensus #1 female strawweight out there. So with that said, tough one to call. Like I said, Faria's good. It'd be especially good if Faria can take the fight to the ground and utilize her ground and pound and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. If she can do that, she can actually, there's a good chance she can win the fight. Aguilar does have good takedown defense, but she has been taken down. I mean, she has a very controversial win, and Bellator is her second fight with, I think, is Patricia Vodonik. And Vodonik was like taking her down a lot. That's the thing, and it was kind of controversial. A lot of people thought the second fight with Vodonik should have gone. Vodonik versus Aguilar should have gone to Vodonik, actually. I can see Faria actually being able to get takedowns on Aguilar. On the feet, I favor Aguilar. I think she's a little more of the crisper boxer than Faria is. So I favor her on the feet. I think Aguilar might be able to get her own offensive takedowns on Kalindra Faria as well. So I am going to go with Aguilar to win this one. I think she can beat her up on the feet. Handle herself well enough on the ground to get the win. I am like I said, I don't read odds. but I would assume Aguilar's the favorite here. This fight, I would assume, does have upset potential for me. Actually, the Gaethje fight kind of has some upset potential, but it's more like if Melvin gets that one big shot in there. But yeah, just got Aguilar for the win there. Next fight is that Jorge Patino fights Eric Reynolds. Reynolds, 18-8 record, 8 wins by KO or TKO, 8 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO and 4 losses by sub. 28 years old on a 2-fight losing streak. The thing with Reynolds, good everywhere, not great at any one particular aspect of MMA. Stand up solid, not a bad wrestler. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu's good. Definitely, he's actually been something of like that test for guys in the regional scene. So I guess he's something of a journeyman fighter. And at this point, Jorge Patino is too. But he did hold those legacy. He did hold titles for Legacy FC. I think Reynolds may have had XFC titles. I'm not too sure. But anyways, with Patino, 35-15 record with 2 draws and 1 no contest. 11 wins by KO or TKO, 14 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by KO or TKO and 2 losses by sub. He's 41 years old. He's pretty much the owner of Macaco Gold Team, if I'm not mistaken. Leader, owner. I know he's like the manager for a lot of their fighters. He is a veteran. This guy has a lot of fights, really experienced. I think he beat Jacare actually really early in his career. He has good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Stand-up's average. I mean, he'll at times wing punches. He got clobbered by Luis Palomino. I think that was in his most recent fight. But Reynolds isn't Palomino. So with that said, I'm actually going to go with Patino here. I think he can match a lot of what Reynolds can offer. It's a close fight though, but I'll go with Patino to win that one. Okay, on to prelims. Just to tell you right now, I don't know anything about these guys. Except for Javier Torres. If I'm mistaken, I think he was that guy on The Ultimate Fighter, right? Or was he? Yeah, I think it was that dude. I think he fought in The Ultimate Fighter, actually. Not 100% sure. Maybe it's another Javier Torres. Anyways, Javier Torres versus Maurice Salmon. Salmon has a 3-3 record, all 3 wins by KO or TKO, 2 losses by submission, 39 years old on a 2-fight losing streak. Javier Torres, 6-2 record, 1 win by TKO, 4 wins by sub, 29 years old on a 3-fight win streak. Trains out of Syndicate, where like Mike Pyle trains out there, Roxanne out of Ferry. There's actually a lot of good fighters out of Syndicate. For some reason I'm forgetting who else trains out of there. Anyways, I gotta go with Javier Torres for the win there. Next fight is that Troy Gerhart fights Anderson Hutchinson. Hutchinson has a 3-0 undefeated record, 1 win by TKO, 2 wins by decision, 27 years old. Gerhart, 6-3 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by decision, 28 years old. He's only won 1 of his last 4 fights. I'll go with Anderson Hutchinson for the win there. Next fight after that, Ryan Keenan fights Jose Andre Cortez. Cortez has no pro or amateur MMA fights in his record. Ryan Keenan, 5-2 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 1 loss by TKO and 1 loss by sub. He's 29 years old. He's a finisher who's never been past the 2nd round. I gotta go with Ryan Keenan for the win there. Next fight after that, Tony Way fights Fred Moncaio. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Moncaio. With Moncaio, 1-1 record with 1 win by submission. He also has 1 loss by KO. He's 25 years old, never been past the 2nd round. Tony Way, 2 wins, 4 losses, 1 no contest. Both of his wins are by submission. He also has 3 losses by submission. He's 26 years old. I'll go with Fred Moncaio to win that one. Right after that, Hector Chavez fights Robert Reed. Ochoa has a 2-2 record, 2 wins by decision. Both of his losses are by submission, 29 years old. Robert Reed, 1-0, undefeated record, with that 1 win being by submission. 33 years old, trains out of Jungle MMA. If I'm not mistaken, guys that train out there would be, I think Tom Lawler and Seth Petrozelli train out of Jungle MMA. I'll go with Robert Reed for the win there. Next fight after that, Joe Johnson fights Reggie Pena. Joe Johnson, 3-7 record. 1 win by TKO, 1 win by sub. His 4 losses by KO or TKO and 2 losses by sub. He's, from what I read, he's 49 years old. Reggie Pena, 10-6 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO and 2 losses by sub. He's 31 years old. Gotta go with Reggie Pena for the win there. I've actually seen him fight now that I think about it. So he's fought in some of these regional shows. I just forgot which one. I want to say like a couple of like legacies or something like that. Next, right after that, Christian Reed fights Steven Esquivel. Reed has no wins and 2 losses. Both of his losses are by TKO, and he's never been past the 2nd round. Esquivel, 1-0, undefeated pro MMA record, with that 1 win being by a decision. Go with the guy with the winning record, Steven Esquivel, for the win. And finally, Matt Frevola fights Josh Zuckerman. Found no information about Josh Zuckerman with Frevola. He has no pro MMA bouts, but he is 2-0 as an amateur. One of those wins as an amateur was by submission. So I'll go with Matt Frevola for the win there. Okay, to recap on the main card, I got Yushin Okami beating David Branch, Justin Gaethje over Melvin Guillard, Jessica Aguilar beating Kalindra, Faria, and Jorge Patino over Eric Reynolds. On the prelims, I have Javier Torres beating Maurice Salmon, Anderson Hutchinson over Troy Gerhart, Ryan Keenan beating Jose Andre Cortez, Fred Moncaio over Tony Way, Robert Reed beating Hector Ochoa, Reggie Pena over Joe Johnson, Steven Esquivel beating Christian Reed, and Matt Frevola over Josh Zuckerman. So that's it for my World Series of Fighting 15 predictions. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.